Alright, what's going on, everyone? After filming my Black Panther video, I was super excited to go ahead and film this one as well. So, as you can probably tell, this is of course an Action Force figure from Valaverse. Starting off, I got this for roughly $40. This is the Delta Trooper from Series 2, as well as the Delta Gear set from Series 2. Because at this point, I think it's beneficial for the collector to buy both at the same time in case one goes out of stock. The figure itself retails for $21.99 on the Valaverse website, and the Delta set retails for $12.99 on the Valaverse website, which is where I got both of these as soon as they came back in stock. About probably a week or two ago now, they were back in stock. I just checked. I'm pretty sure they're still in stock. As you can tell, the box art is awesome. That's why I wanted to show these off first, as well as the figure. And I didn't put everything from the Delta set on this figure, but I went ahead and put the main things like the belt, the helmet, as well as his vest, of course. So the box art on the Delta set does show you everything that it comes with if we move the figure out of the way. So you can see, of course, the rifle, all the gear, the backpack, the extra ammo, and the knife and all that. So here's the side of this box, which is a continuation of that. The top of the box has the Valaverse logo, very minimal, which I like. And these boxes feel different from any other action figure I've got, and I honestly, I could display these. They're just pretty much paper, kind of cardboard, but they look amazing, and I don't know how to describe them. I could talk about them all day, but here's the other side of the box, which kind of has that G.I. Joe thing where they add the number of the figure right there at the bottom, but that's the Action Force logo. And then the back of the box for this one, you can see all the content, of course, scan for additional products, and then this says to cut and save it for future promotions. So I don't know if that really means we can get discounts on figures or things like that, but of course you have the Valaverse, all the platforms they're on, another logo there, and of course Valaverse.com, which is where I recommend going. You could also go to Big Bad Toy Store, but they always sell above retail, so I didn't want to go there. So of course, Delta gear set at the bottom, all your hazards, no one under 5, right there. And then the other box shows the figure, the alternate head that you get with that. Of course, it says includes one figure, another logo. It's almost exactly the same as the other one as far as the top and the bottom, but yeah, never mind. I was going to say that logo's new, but obviously I'm just dumb. So there's the side of the box, which if you want to display the boxes together, I'd say that looks pretty cool as far as that goes. And then, of course, you can do this. Put them right there. And then the back of the box for the Delta Trooper has the character card that you can read. I read it already. Of course, it says to cut it out. I'm not going to cut anything out. I want to keep my box preserved as much as possible in case I have to move my figures one more time. So you get that same code, same promotional little patch there, same logos and everything. I kind of like the bio for the Delta Trooper because I've never read the Valaverse comics. I didn't buy any of them. This is the only figure that I own from them. So knowing just a little bit about the character kind of helps out. Of course, everything says various as far as like the file name, the birthplace, and all that, because this is a troop builder, so it's not one specific person. It's a whole group of people. But I was going to say my story with Big Bad Toy Store and the reason I bought from Valaverse directly is I actually thought about purchasing the Conador figure from Series 1 when it came out. And I never received it. And then the Big Bad Toy Store exclusive green and black Steel Brigade figure, I pre-ordered that and then never received it. So I just decided to cancel both of those after a while. And then I went ahead and just picked this up because I saw the photo saying it was back in stock on Instagram, and green is my favorite color, and I knew I wanted a troop builder. So here he is. He comes with this stand that just says Action Force that you can't really tell right now. It's non-painted. It is a diamond plate texture, so you'll definitely feel that. There's nothing on the bottom. It just says Made in China. And then here is your full, let me actually give you a full view of it, your full rotation of the figure itself. And when I got this thing out of the box, I was very surprised as to just how well put together the figure is. Like the articulation for the price point, everything just seems awesome. That's the only way I can describe it. It's just awesome. So of course the vest doesn't come on the figure, but that's what he looks like out of the box. So you, of course, they're made to be modular. You can interchange them and all that. So as far as the details go, I played around with this a little bit last night. I didn't really notice anything that like threw me off. As far as, I thought it was kind of funny the way these arms are, the shoulder, like that's supposed to be part of his clothes, I know. But of course you would restrict movement if you didn't like cut that away, right? Which it kind of restricts movement almost a little bit as is. But you can kind of work around it. The only thing that I don't like about it is, as you can tell in the picture, it kind of goes over the shoulder a little bit and you get this like piping, which you can't really tell on camera, but you get a continuation of like the black to the sides, and just on the figure itself, there's just nothing there. Of course, you can see it doesn't continue down there, which I would have liked to see the figure match the actual box. But obviously from a price point perspective, I'd say it's fine. You're not really going to notice it too much or care more than I will probably. But getting the figure out of the way, getting into the, I guess I'll show you guys the gear pack first. We can go ahead and get everything out of the way and just open that up real quick. So, of course, I've already shown off the vest. So, nothing is removable on this that I know of. I'm scared to break it. So, here's the front of the vest, the side of the vest, and then the back of the vest has a radio, nothing more. Of course, you keep your peg if you can actually get it lined up. Unlike me, it's not quite there. But the one thing I noticed is this is how you put it on. So you kind of slip it over the head and then you move this part out of the way and you push those in. But of course it gaps a little bit, which is fine. It was just a struggle to get it to actually press in. Like I could get one or the other tab in, but not both of them at the same time, until a lot of struggling. So there is a backpack that comes with this, and here's my flaw here. The backpack, I'm not sure if you're supposed to put it on with the vest or not, but obviously not, because that's how it's gonna go. Like, it's gonna go in. Well, I moved the peg, so if I didn't move the peg, it would go in about that far. But the radio blocks it, and I don't know if that's supposed to be a thing or if you're just not supposed to use the backpack with the vest, but that's what it looks like. You can still use it. It's just probably gonna fall off on you. But that leads me into my next thing. We have this backpack here, which is completely unpainted, but really cool, and I'll show that more in a minute. But I want to show off the vest, or not the vest, the belt. So the belt is a separate piece that comes in the gear pack, and the belt has these two mag pouches with mags that are non-removable. We have a holster here, and then the back of it just has some miscellaneous stuff like a painted, or a little knife that's kind of molded on. And then I'm not sure what the silver, that looks like a multi-tool. It won't focus. There we go. Honestly, it looks like a multi-tool that's non-removable. And then a flashlight that's non-removable. But that's that's everything as far as what goes on the figure itself. Of course, you have a little knife holster right there for, of course, a knife, which I can show you real quick. So here's a knife. It has a green handle and a black frame or blade, and then just black at the bottom. So the subtle paint job on figures and accessories definitely makes them worth buying. Like, you could buy this gear pack and not even use it with an Action Force figure. You could use it on your Joes or anything, to be honest. Also, there's a little hole there, which I'm not sure if that's just for a design purpose or if you can actually like fit something through there to put like a little string on it or something. And like I said, it can fit in here. I'm not sure how it goes, but I'm going to attempt to put it in there one way or another. Probably needs to be heated up, to be honest. Like, you can get it in there, but that's as far as it's going. I guess it doesn't matter which way you put it in there, but that's what that looks like. And then the big boy, we have the rifle here, which I'm just going to assume is an M4 because he's a Delta Trooper, so it's almost common knowledge. But at the same time, I don't know anything about weapons, so I could be completely off, but you know, it looks like an M4 to me. I don't know what version or anything. It has a little ACOG there. Of course, it has a suppressor on it. And then painted bolt carrier group, it looks like. And then I just like the details on this. I looked at it a second ago to see if I could find any paint like chipping or anything. The only thing that I really found was on the handguard. Like, can't really see it on camera. There's a little, there you go, right there by my thumb. Right there. There's a little spot that's kind of like the green paint didn't completely go on. But that's fine, honestly. I think it adds character. And I would love to see some like actually weathered guns where like the paint's just purposely chipped off everywhere and stuff like that. The only thing that's removable on this is the mag. There are 2 extra mags. They're exactly the same, so I'm not even going to show them off. They do go in his vest, though. So there's that, and then there's this handgun as well. No removable parts on it. I tried to remove the mag just then. Of course, it comes with a sight as well, and then it doesn't, like, you can't rack it or anything. That would be cool though if it had moving parts. I'm assuming this is a SIG, but I really don't even want to say anything. But someone let me know what they actually are. And of course, it has the hole in the barrel, which isn't coming up on camera very nice, for these. So you get 2 effects, 2 blasting effects, and then 1 little tiny effect to go onto one of the other effects, I think. I don't want to open these because I'm never going to use them. I'm curious though, what is this? Is this like an extension for the handgun? Something? Like a barrel extension? Because I'm confused. But someone let me know what that is if you know. That's what that comes with. And then the last thing is going to be his helmet, which I have completely taken apart. So you can put the night vision up there. It does come with 2 extra holes right there on both sides, which I'm not sure really what those are for because the radio comm set is attached from the back, which I took off because I didn't really like the way they looked and I wanted to show off one final feature. So the backpack is probably my favorite part. You pull it out, which is probably going to be a struggle, and you have storage space, which is like my favorite feature as far as this line goes. When I saw online that they were going to be doing that, I thought that was probably the best thing they could do because you can literally just not worry about losing the little things. I'm sure you all know a little something about that. It does feel kind of slippery and like, I don't know how to explain it. It feels almost like you're going to put your thumb through it. It kind of feels soft right there, but at first I wasn't for sure if it opened or not, and then I remembered that it does, so I was like, well, how does it open? So I tried to pull on that because I saw the line, and I was like, at first it wasn't going, and I was like, oh, maybe it's not openable. But yeah, so there's that. The backpack's pretty cool. Wish it did have some painted parts though. This one's the gray version. There are other versions for other figures. So as far as the figure itself, we do have some accessories for that, like I mentioned earlier. We have one alternate head sculpt, which I'm currently looking at, and I'm trying not to laugh. So the alternate head looks very off. Look at his eyes. You can kind of tell what they were going for by looking at the box, but it just didn't come clean on mine. His eye is like, he has a little bit of what looks to be white paint smearing at the top of his eye on the side closest to my thumb. And then, I don't know, it's just, the printing looks funny, but it also looks weird on this head sculpt as well. But, I don't know. Maybe it's just me complaining too much, but there's both of the heads. And then he comes with a variety of hands, one of them being the one that can hold his other sidearm, which is the only weapon that comes with the trooper himself, which to me looks like a Glock 18 because of the extended mag. It almost looks fully automatic, but that's just me. The non-removable suppressor, non-removable magazine, non-removable flashlight. So that kind of sucks. It's either a flashlight or a laser, but either way, non-removable sight either. So that kind of sucks. But as you can see, the hand holds it nicely, and there is an alternate hand that you can use if you want to hold your figure like a lefty. So that's what they give you. They give you great variety here. The other two hands, we have like this sort of blocking open palm, almost, it will carry your backpack. That's what I was using it for. It's more of like a karate type hand, but you can put the backpack, if it'll focus, the backpack underneath there and use it for that, because that's really the only way you're going to carry your bag around with the vest on, since it won't really go anywhere else. And then this hand, not really sure what this one's for. It's just kind of your item holding hand. You could probably hold some accessories that don't come with the figure. Like, of course, you can hold your backpack like that if you want to do something like that, like have it thrown over the shoulder. You can probably put some like rods or swords, things like that, in his hand from other figures. The last thing it comes with is the fisted hand, which it came with the fisted hands, or the out of the box hands were the shooting hands, and then I put the other the fisted hand on him because I had him in some sort of like defending pose earlier where he was kind of throwing this one up to block and then this one was getting ready to punch. I had him on the stand like that. But that's all for accessories. There's a lot of them. I guess I can show you the helmet with everything attached to it as you see in the photo, and then we can get into articulation and everything else in 1 second. Here he is in his full kit, with the exception of these. So I think he looks super cool. I went ahead and put everything on his helmet just so I could show you guys the rest of the helmet. So I will say when putting these on, I'm terrible at putting small parts on figures or anything. That's why I don't play with Legos anymore. But the nods and the earpieces for the comms were super easy to put on. The one thing I will say is when you're pushing this one in, this is attached. The microphone might get in the way, so try not to break it. Otherwise, I say it looks fine. Wish it was articulated. But yeah, I was worried about breaking that. And then otherwise, I'd say it looks great. Like, obviously didn't put the backpack on because I'm not going to go through that, trying to put that on. So I'll just set it next to him. But I found a use for everything that he comes with. So went ahead and held the rifle like this, just like a resting pose, of course. The magazines do fit very nicely. They're exactly the same, like I said, as the one that's attached to the rifle. So they will fit in there, but if you flip them upside down, they're going to fall out. The knife doesn't fall out because it's kind of tucked in there. The pistol holster over here fits very nice as well. So as far as my first Valaverse Action Force figure, this is a great entry, and I'm probably going to spend a whole lot of money on this line. I don't know if I really have a thing for the figures that are named, as far as all of the figures that are based on real people and the ones that are just kind of out there. Like, I'm not sure how I feel about, I don't even know their names. The other figures in the series that are just kind of, they look insane. Like, they're not militaristic. They kind of just like look like random people with like their random helmets and things like that. Not sure how I truly feel as far as that goes. So I don't know what figures I'll pick up, what figures I will pass on. At the moment, I'm passing on everything besides this. I wanted to get the female Delta Trooper from Series 3, but I just decided not to pick that up at the moment because I was going to wait until I saw how well this one was. Ideally, I would like to have a squad of Delta Troopers, like 3 of these, maybe 4 of these to have, and then, you know, pose them really nicely next to each other. I do love the inclusion of the base. I'm not sure how many figures come with the base or if they all do or not, but this base is super solid. I really like it. The one thing that I will say about the base is I'm happy that it came with like the gunmetal one because I saw the other ones online. I don't really like the yellow or the red. I kind of just like the simplistic look of this one. And it's not painted, but it might as well be. The card, I forgot to mention earlier, the card is supposed to slot right there behind him. So you can have, if you were to cut out the card for the Delta Trooper, you could have it displayed in this sort of fashion there. Something like that. But I'm not going to do that. I'll just display, probably end up doing something like this if I ever display them together. Might not even display the box. Just use the box as a reference to go back to when I forget who the Delta Trooper is. I'm just kidding. So yeah, there's your last look at the figure. All in all, he's awesome. No complaints with him, to be honest. For the price point, for less than $50, I got both of these, which is really cool for the price point. There's not really anything I can say that I haven't already said I dislike about the figure, which is only 2 minor things that I can get over, that being the eyes and then the lack of paint. But for a mostly plastic unpainted figure, I'm very surprised that I like this. I want to go ahead and get some more of them. Obviously, I want to review the Swarm figures and maybe some of the Steel Brigade figures, but I don't really know if I'll get them or not, so maybe I'll do a review on them, maybe I won't. Whatever figures you guys want to see me review, go ahead and put those in the description, and then I'll take your, or not the description, the comments, and I'll take your comments into consideration for when I go ahead and buy another Action Force figure. So that's going to be it for this review. Thank you for watching. If you want to, you can go ahead and watch my Black Panther review if you enjoyed this one. If you didn't enjoy it, just go ahead and leave a dislike. That helps me know if I'm doing well or not. I want to have all of your feedback, all the good and the bad feedback, so go ahead and say whatever you want to say about the review. But for those who enjoyed, thank you for watching. I will see you next time. If you stayed this long, you might as well go ahead and like the video. And hopefully, maybe if I can just get you to subscribe, that'd be awesome. But goodbye. Articulation. We're going to do it with most of the kit on, that excluding the weapons. Let me go ahead and move this light so we can see what's hindered and what's not hindered by the extra accessories. So I can already tell the helmet is going to hinder probably nothing except for maybe the tilt. So he looks up that far, which is more than I would want him to, and then looks down with the inclusion of the neck. That just popped off. So he looks down that far, but with the helmet on, he kind of doesn't want to. He will look down the same amount. It just kind of pops off because it's not attached to anything. So let's just go ahead and put that to the side. So of course there's 360 there. And then let me see about tilt. Can he tilt? I don't know. Barely. I mean, there's like straight up and down. There's no tilt straight up and down. He will tilt when looking down slightly, but otherwise no tilt. There's no rotation at the neck itself. The base of the neck is too stiff and there's no articulation there. So as far as the arms go, you can 360 up and down. So of course, arms go all the way up, arms go all the way out, about 90 degrees as well. Kind of hindered by his shoulders. You can get him to go up more if you move that back and like that. So it'll go about 90. And then there are slight butterfly joints, like slightly help out there. So you can kind of get those two-hand rifle poses or whatever you want to do there. Of course, he can cross his arms with that. So double jointed elbows. And I will say my joints out of the box were like extremely tight, but then as soon as I started messing with it, finessing them a little bit, they loosened up significantly. So I don't know if I'm eventually going to have to try to fix that, but for now it's perfect. So 360 at the wrist. There is of course a bicep swivel, and then there is no wrist cut right here, but of course you still get your 360 there. So there's an up and down hinge on this one. Yeah, so you can hold something like that, slight up, and then moving the arms out of the way. He has what I wouldn't really call an ab crunch. I would call it more of like, I don't know, can you see it? Can't really see it. It's more of like a cut, like a U cut or an N almost. It's like, it's more of an ab cut rather than an ab crunch, because an ab crunch kind of just goes forward and backwards. This, you can get some tilt here for sure. So tilt side to side, of course, hindered by the gun and the pistol mags. You can get them to go back that far. You can get them to go forward that far with it on. Maybe slightly forward with that off, not sure. So he will 360 if he doesn't have stuff on him, but I'm not going to force that because I don't want to break anything. At the actual waist here, you do get 360 when there's nothing on him as well. So the waist itself can go slightly forward, slightly backwards. Now getting down to the legs, we have full splits. I mean, full splits. Forward 90, backwards barely, because it has solid butt, which is one thing I hate about figures, but I don't know how they could do it any better besides making this a soft piece of plastic so that way it'd kind of move out of the way. You can obviously do something like that where, you know, a more realistic thing to do, I guess. You could push the whole leg forward, but then this leg's forward. So there is a thigh swivel, which rotates 360, and then double jointed knees, which are still super tight for me. Like, I'm scared to break this, but if you push it from the back, it kind of helps. I did this yesterday and it didn't break, so let's see if I break it. So double jointed knees like that. That's as far as they go. He can kick behind him all the way. There is a boot cut, which I had a problem with being super tight on this one. I believe it was this one. So that's 360, and then kind of some toe pivot forward. Might just be my figure being too tight. Of course, all the way back, and then you can 360 that as well. There are pegs, of course, for that stand, and then a little bit of tread. Oops, off frame. Sorry about that. There's a little bit of tread, which makes it look more realistic, but also helps hold on to that stand. So that's all the articulation. As you can tell, I've completely messed up my figure. The one thing I will say is the belt being a loose piece, I'm not sure how to get it over the other belt. Like, if you put the front of this one over, then the back just doesn't at all. So it kind of just sits on top of the other one. There's not really a good way to get that to go down. Unless somebody wants to let me know how to fix that. I can't do it right now on camera, but I had it the front down earlier and then the back was kind of just sitting there. But otherwise, I don't like the fact that that's sitting all the way up. I'll fix that off camera, but that's going to be all for articulation. Now let's get into size comparisons. Is compared to the Marvel Legends in-game Captain America from the Captain America 2-pack and the Legacy Collection Black Panther figure that I just unboxed, if you want to go ahead and watch that after watching this video. So he scales well with the other soldier. This Black Panther figure is a little bit off because his head should be sitting lower on his neck, but the articulation prevents that from happening. But either way, he still scales really well with Marvel Legends. So if you want to have like the Avengers doing something and then a couple of the soldiers in the background maybe helping civilians or something for a cool toy photography shot or something like that, even though I know that the military and the police don't really exist in Avengers. It's your toy, you can do whatever you want with it. So that's how tall he stands without his stand, of course, on his own 2 feet. Now, if I put him on a stand, let's see how tall he is now. Raise him up quite a bit. So that's what he's going to stand at on top of your shelf. Maybe if you're limited on headspace, you might not be able to use the stand. Even though it's a shallow stand, it's still significant difference, as you can tell with the before compared to Steve and after compared to Steve.